Good evening, and welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness, Cameron and our venue. Tonight, we start our scene at one of the many suburban areas of New York. It's a 1 hour drive from the center of the city, give or take, depending on traffic. What we start with is a parking lot next to a couple of stores and a bar and some stuff. And a person is just arriving.
Yes, Lucius will arrive in a taxi. However, it looks exactly like a taxi and it has the function as a taxi. Um, People who have been paying attention know that this particular taxi has but only one client, and that's Lucius. Recently procured on a mission in Staten Island. And this, well, streetwise Caucasian male has has driven Lucius all the way to this bar, this venue, so to speak, this location, and is well a little anxious what's going to happen because although he's never met anyone.
Right. Just outside the bar, you will see the person you know. Uh, the person who sometimes sets you up with certain individuals. As you step out, he just comes over. Hey, man. Hey. Good to see you. So, got some. Hope got some good news. Haven't heard much.
I got some extra info indeed.
Oh, great, man, great. I don't know. They seem a little jumpy, but I don't know. Just just keep it cool, and it'll be fine. All right.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Are you worried?
You can tell without a peony that this is probably a mechanism to calm himself down because he seems somewhat jumpy, probably more than they are. Um, but well, um, anyways, the two of you go into the bar, and it is not the biggest place. Um, there is like a couple of chairs that's occupied in the front. I mean, there's people at the bar. It seems normal, but it's quite clear that there is a uh, this is our table. At the back of the bar, there is quite a bit of distance between 3 or 4 guys sitting at the table, and they seem to be regulars, very regulars, and you recognize some of them.
Lucius will wait according to the protocol he's done before in the house and wait because he knows that he could take out every single room, but it would serve no purpose. He will rather play the underdog and newcomer to those hot-headed people in the city. As of for now, he's content with just relaxing and wait till he is called upon. But deep in his mind, things couldn't go any slower. He's annoyed at some level, but he'll wait, like a good little soldier.
There is not a heated discussion, but there is some debate, and it takes like a minute or two before the one of the guys just you're paying attention, so it's not really like hitting, but he just kind of just speaks to one of the other and just nods his head over at you, and you can see there's a couple of looks being exchanged between your friend and some of the people, and he just gives you a nod. All right, come on.
Lucius will walk up to the table. If he's not being frisked before, he is packing weapons. If he, however, gets the same security as with the as at the house,
No, doesn't seem to be the same security. Um, Mr. Kernenbrenner, good to see you again. Please, have a seat.
Captain Bruno will take a seat.
Your friend as well. He's also sits down. All right. Well, I haven't had any search warrants at my place. I haven't had, well, any unpleasantness. So, you're doing all right?
You're very anxious to hear it. That involves your brother, or one of us, I should say, is that I hired a man who is of judicial influence, trying to spot a fault within your brother's apprehension. And it seems that the New York's finest have made some errors, which will lead to either another process, which in they have another chance to prove their innocence, or even more so, a release from custody. Very bad processing. This is always very small at the moment, but it has had my full attention.
You can make a perception empathy if you want to.
Of course, I want to there to be social and everything. Let me see, because I haven't had the sheet up because I'm an idiot. Let's see, let's see. No. Yes. So that would be perception. Where no perception alerts.
Or empathy, but yeah, you can use.
Oh right, I think empathy is better with me.
All right.
Yeah, empathy is better. Last time around? No, that was leadership. No, that's about the same dice pool.
All right.
Yeah, rolling it now. Come on.
You could do it, dice stream.
Yeah, oh, there it is. Ah, I failed.
Well, I mean, you're. I mean, he sits there and he just looks you over and just nods a bit, and then just goes, okay. So hmm. Sits there. He just doesn't say anything for a moment. Just, he looks at your friend, looks at you, just when. All right. Okay. Uh, when will this retrial be happening?
Well, that now you start up the retrial. But what I want eventually is not necessarily a retrial, but more information in the case. If they need to reopen it, then people need to be activated, so to speak, including the officers who have made the arrest should be questioned. Because they need to be questioned, there is a chance that um, we might get the names before the actual interview, which means that we have a time to persuade to recall the situation as we see it.
He whispers something to one of the people behind him or beside him and just nods at him. You know what? I think the two of us might actually get along fairly well. He says, this one guy he whispered to goes, he takes his phone out and he goes outside to take the phone call or call someone. All right. Well, this is a minute. Well, this is quite good in development, gotta say.
Yes, I hope, for I've seen the current state of our affairs within the city, and I can't help but notice our quite diminished number. I'm sure you're not at fault. You seem a good man when it comes to your priorities. However, since we are at this moment touchable by the police, I understand oh, um, your way of operating, as we don't want to lose more people in our prospects.
Oh,
However, I do want or would like to see our numbers swell in the very immediate future in New York.
well, he looks at you. I commend your initiative.
This initiative is only sparked by some news that I have heard, and I assume many of you have heard as well, that there is a sale coming soon of weaponry and the likes, and it has to do with high grade weaponry that we could use in our war against our enemies.
So, for no members, would you be, if this is something you want to do?
I assume we all want to make our
Yeah, but
group the best the city has to offer.
of course, but we all need to be aware and, well, the vetting needs to be, well, up to par. We need to make sure that they're, well, you know what? He sits there for a moment. It's been a while since we had a real celebration. If you can find people who might be interested, well, if you can look into them, make sure that there are no well, inconsistencies.
Well, I might have a suggestion where we could find such people. See, our reputation in the prisons is far better than out here in the street. So, although trying to get members from the prison might take a while to get higher, it also means that most of the action and maybe even a little thing on the side now and then. If we have people owing us, then you know as well as I do that they are willingly loyal because they feel they should. Also, it might be handy to look into rave parties, since those are often visited by like-minded individuals and could help with bringing the much-needed new blood within our ranks. Of course, these need to be tested before they enter. And I think when we run these tests, they should all be gang, which
Could you repeat
means,
that? Sorry, could you repeat that?
yeah, where did you lose me?
Then we need to.
Test them, test the new blood, we need to visit raves and test the
Ah,
newcomers.
okay. Um,
Ah, now I know what you missed. He said that he advises that we visit raves because there we can find like-minded individuals
hmm,
and branch out into the prisons where people are sitting who owe us because their survival within prison depends on our movement.
fair enough. Like, he just he sits there and all right. Want a drink? He looks at the both of you and just, any of you want a drink?
Yes, beer, please.
Uh, Either he has a telekinetic link or like a sonic link to the bartender, or other else they know each other. He just does a hand motion into the air, and the bartender, you're quite sure that was to the bartender. And not too long after, you are both served beer, and he sits there, and he after a while he just all right, looks at your friend for a little while, looks at you and says, "You know what? I'm impressed. I gotta say, still need to see what
Sorry, I
happens with
didn't
my."
get that. I didn't get the beginning.
He says, "Well, we still need to see what happens with my brother. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I heard some news from my brother that someone did contact him and said that there was someone who was, well, getting him lawyered up somehow.
That's true. That's me.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm actually a bit impressed. If you pull this off, then I'm quite sure that we can all have a fairly good relationship in the future.
I very
Cheers.
much hope so. I
Cheers
believe it.
to new
Cheers.
beginnings." And he raises his glass. And again, you can see this guy is very. I mean, he has this constant poker face almost. He's not smiling. He's just very reserved, not showing too much. He's just, yeah. He just takes a drink from our takes a sip of his drink and just, wow. Well, I gotta say, I mean, wow.
I'm glad someone is can be impressed. This means we're off to a good start.
That it does. That it does. We got a lot of work to do.
We do.
We
Like I
got a good
said,
foot.
we need numbers, we need good leadership, and most of all, we need some good racketeering in the city. People have who have grown
Right.
our gang and our name. I would like to rekindle this.
Good. Well, he looks at his phone and it's getting somewhat late, but please, the beers are in the house. One of the guys, the guy who had the phone call comes back in and just looks at him and just, it's all right, it's all right, just go on ahead. And he says, well, um, if I have to be somewhat productive tomorrow, I have to get some sleep. He looks at his phone again. Just, it's been a very, very good pleasure to speak to you again, both of you. I hope we will see more of each other as soon as possible.
Yes. I hope in the future we can start a mutual friendship where we can really shape our future.
Looking forward to it. The three of them get up, and you can tell the three others been sitting there, just been doing their best to just seem large and imposing. But as she's getting up, you can see them, all of them. They did just they do like a bit more of a noticeable like nod or bow almost to you, and just like nod at you. And one of them actually cracks a smile, and she's just nodding at you. And then they get up, and as they're walking out, they talk a little with the bartender, and they leave the bar.
Lucius will smile his contact and will then simply say, we are up for a great future.
That's good, man. I mean, you're fucking you're tight. You know that you're a miracle worker. You get in with these guys. They- They're, I mean, with a little help, they're going to be real such sons of bitches. You know? I think
Well,
that's
we need to hold together because the numbers. I don't want to piss them off, but I believe that we need to increase in order to strengthen our resolve.
I got some.
Numbers, weapons, money,
I may have.
power.
I may actually have a lead on the numbers, but I'm not
Really?
quite sure yet. Yeah, maybe, but I'll get back to you. He's well, it's a couple of guys, but they're a little well, they're not the most. I can't really get in contact with them that easy, so I just want to make sure that they're reliable.
And right, you should. We have only one shot to make it to the top. Only one shot. Then better strike true, or we end up with nothing.
Gotta. It has to be your upbringing. I mean, there's very few people who use those words. He smiles a bit and just. All right. He finishes his beer and he just. All right. Do you need a ride? Do you need a ride or?
I got my ride covered.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe. Well, I mean, we could. He looks around. Maybe there's some. Maybe there's some fairly lonely females around here who needs company. Huh? He smiles a bit and he looks around.
You didn't mention that. I think one of the angles we should try legal prostitution and if we make it high class enough, the police won't touch us. Some might even hire us.
I
Could
like
you
the way you
find
think,
out for
man.
me? Could you find out for me who is holding the biggest illegal whorehouse in the city at the moment? Who and to which gang he belongs? This will help in the future we're going to make a stand.
Well, I'll do my best, but this isn't really things they post in the paper. But well,
I know. Look around ask around in the street. Ask
I
around
will.
who heard about it. And if
I
you
will.
can't come up with something, just say you can't come up with something. But give me your best effort.
I will.
We need it.
He kind of nods at you, and he says goodbye, gives you like a almost like a hug, like a bro hug, and he begins to leave the bar.
All right. Well, Lucius will follow reasonably soon after. He will talk to the what you call it, the bar owner, and thank him for the good beer. And he will also ask for his name.
He just says his name is Tim. That's all he gives you.
It's okay.
Of course, he says that. Yeah, my name is Tim. Because no self-respecting bartender has a high voice. Yeah, you leave the place, and unless there is anything else, I believe that this is where we will end our scene.
All right.
Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.